This is Jamie Jackson Spanhake, and this is The Lawyer, the Lion, and the Laundry here on Pauling Public Radio, sponsored by the law firm of Berlandi, Nussbaum, and Reitzes, LLP, located here in Pauling, New York. Now, you can listen to us on TuneIn Radio at paulingpublicradio.org and thebeatofthevalley.com. We're streaming live from the Rush Studios at 26 East Main Street in Pauling, New York. So, what we were going to do tonight was interview my law partner, my colleague, Josh Reitzes, who is a litigator and an amazing person and really funny. So I was really looking forward to a lot of laughs tonight on our show. However, Josh unfortunately had a bit of a medical emergency earlier today, and he's going to be fine, but he's not available. So we have a Plan B show. And I was just talking to Tom, our engineer, prior to coming on air about Frozen 2, the movie, if you've seen it, and that it's all about how we want things to stay the same and not change, but change can be good, and that we have to deal with whatever life throws at us. So, since I had an unexpected change for the show tonight, I thought we could talk about dealing with unexpected changes. So, first, let me tell you the name of the show is The Lawyer, the Lion, and the Laundry, and that's the title of my new book, which is also available at my website, jamiespanhake.com. And in the show, we interview lawyers and other professionals about how they have successful careers but still enjoy their personal lives. So, dealing with unexpected change. So, one of the things that I talk about in my book is that one of the ways to be productive is to be organized, and not only with your space, but with your time. And organizing your time, for me, a good way to do that is calendaring everything. And a lot of times, I get pushback from people saying, well, I don't have control over what happens. So I calendar everything and then everything changes. And that's exactly what happened today. And I think that the point is that's fine. Yes, life changes. It's good to have a plan. And then it's good to have a plan B plan when things change, because they will change. So I think that it's really important to remember that life is about practice, so that when things change, we just do the best that we can and adapt to what's happening around us. And one of the things that I've written about in my book, the last chapter of the book actually is called Keep Trying, Perfection Not Required. And this is the introduction to that chapter, which I think is really on point for our discussion. So when I'm not writing, I practice law. And lawyers don't do law, they practice it. The reason is that the rules and circumstances change. So even if a lawyer knows everything there is to know, as the laws and the facts continue to change, the lawyer must continue to learn and adapt and change her approach. And this practice is necessary for the practice of law. The same is true of life, which continues to change, so that we must continue to learn and adapt and change. As you approach and incorporate the tools and the tips and the techniques that are in my book, you have to remember all the time that it's practice. You're not going to get to a point one day where you can say, now I've done it, I don't need to do this stuff anymore, I've accomplished it. No. Rather, it will be a daily practice, and what works one year may not work the next, because your circumstances, or even you, will have changed, and you will adapt and continue to practice. So, as we are practicing law, we as lawyers have to change, just like we had to change tonight for our show because our circumstances changed. And when we practice law, I'm a lawyer at Berlandi, Nussbaum, and Reitzes, which is sponsoring the show. And we have an office here in Pauling, and we also have one in White Plains and in New York City. And we have 3 core practice areas. We do corporate work and real estate and litigation. And then I also do estate planning. And one of the things that is so great about BNR, that's what we call Berlanti Nussbaum and Wrights, is BNR, is that we have a network of lawyers that can help each other, and we work together to handle all of our clients' needs. And that is one of the points that I make in my book as well, is that in order to be successful, you really need a support network of people that will help you in the ways that you need to be successful and happy and productive. Because we can't do it alone. Like, I can't do the show alone without you, Tom, because you're here as the engineer. So we have to ask for help, and that doesn't make us weak. That makes us stronger and smarter. And it makes our lives easier so that we can be more present with the people that we care about. So I think we're going to take a quick break. This is Jamie Jackson Spanhake for The Lawyer, the Lion, and the Laundry here on Pauling Public Radio, and we'll be back shortly. So if you're just joining us, this is Jamie Jackson Spanhake on Pauling Public Radio. We are streaming live from the Rush Studios at 26 East Main Street in Pauling, New York. You can listen live at TuneIn Radio, at paulingpublicradio.org, and at thebeatofthevalley.com. So we were just discussing dealing with unexpected change and how being organized but adaptable and approaching life as practice can help us deal with unexpected change. Our show is called The Lawyer, the Lion, and the Laundry, which is also the title of my new book. And we're sponsored by the law firm of Berlanti Nussbaum and Wrights, which is where I am a lawyer as well. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, we plan to have an interview with my colleague, Josh Wrights, who is also a lawyer at BNR. But he's not available tonight, so we're doing a Plan B show where we're talking a little bit about the book and meditation and some other things. So I thought I'd just tell you really quickly why I wrote the book. So I began writing about time management about 10 years ago, and I shifted to how we think about time and how that affects our health and wellness rather than just straight time management, rather than just straight how to get more done. And then I started writing more about what I call mind management, because I realized that time management alone, just getting everything in and getting it accomplished, was not enough for an enjoyable life. That just because we're getting everything accomplished doesn't mean that we are enjoying our life. So mind management is really necessary for a happy life. In other words, the how and the why of what we do are often more important than what we are doing. So I think it's really important when we start talking about mind management and living happy lives to focus on building a life that is built on our personal values. I think that's how we build a life that enables happiness. And I wrote a little bit about this in my book. It's just a personal story about how I jumped right into a new career, which was being a lawyer. This is 19 years ago, without really contemplating or giving much thought to what kind of life I really wanted and what was important to me. So I'll just read a little bit about that story from my book. And the background is that I was practicing law in Manhattan, and I liked it for about 6 months. And this was after, I spent 3 years in law school and worked really hard and had a lot of debt from law school. And about 6 months into practicing, I didn't really like it that much. And the story picks up 6 years later, where I'm still practicing law in a large firm in Manhattan. I had switched firms and was working with a mentor whose values were more closely aligned with mine, namely a belief that I was not just a lawyer, but also a person with interests other than my career. Unfortunately, the majority of the lawyers, and especially the firm leadership, were not so balanced. Still, I was on partnership track, working toward the goal that everyone in the firm wanted, to be asked to join the partnership. Then, one day, I heard an analogy that changed everything. Becoming partner in a large law firm is like winning a pie eating contest where the prize is more pie. I realized that I didn't enjoy the value system in the firm when I was on the periphery as an associate, so I would like it even less when I was enmeshed in it as a partner. For me, the analogy was more accurately stated as becoming partner would be like winning a pie eating contest where the prize is more pie, and I don't even like pie. Holy crap, what had I done? I had spent all that time, effort, and money to achieve great success at something I didn't even like. My mistake was that I didn't take the time to determine my values, what was important to me, and what I truly wanted before I started down the long path to law firm partnership. You can learn from my mistake by carefully considering what's important to you, and that way, when you arrive at the place that is your success, you actually enjoy it. So then I go on in the book to help you explore through some exercises what your values are and coming up with a personal values statement, so that when you get to your place of success, you actually enjoy it. So I finally have gotten to my place of success at B&R, where I work with 3 other partners and 4 other lawyers, 2 associates and 2 counsel. And everybody is a great lawyer and they work really hard at being a lawyer and spend a lot of time helping our clients achieve their goals. But they are also people, not just lawyers. So there's a nice, I don't like the term work-life balance, so I say work-life integration. So there's a nice work-life integration within the law firm. You know, we of course have late nights sometimes, and days where we're less balanced than others, but all in all, we all really work hard to be balanced people. Okay, so we're going to take a short break. This is Jamie Jackson Spanhake for The Lawyer, the Lion, and the Laundry here on Pauling Public Radio, and we'll be back shortly. Hi, if you're just joining us, this is Jamie Jackson Spanhake on Pauling Public Radio. We're streaming live from the Rush Studios at 26 East Main Street in Pauling, New York. You can listen live at TuneIn Radio, at paulingpublicradio.org, and thebeatofthevalley.com. So, if we were just discussing making sure that we are living our lives based upon our values and how important it is to take the time to determine our values so that when we work really hard to get to our place of success, we actually are happy and enjoy that place. The next thing I want to talk a little bit about is why the book is called The Lawyer, the Lion, and the Laundry. So I think the lawyer part is obvious. I am a lawyer, so that is about my professional life. But it's not just for lawyers, it's for anyone who has a professional life or a working life. And the laundry portion is about all the other things that you need to get done, all your obligations that often are competing obligations with your career. You know, you have that moment a lot of times, or at least I do, that I feel like no matter what I'm doing, I always should be doing something else. So if I'm at work, I feel like I should be at home with my daughter. And if I'm hanging out with my daughter, I feel like, oh my gosh, I should be checking my email or on that conference call or whatever it is for work. And then there is the lion portion of the book, and the lawyer, the lion, and the laundry. And That is about mind management. And we talked a little bit about this last time, but in case you weren't here, there's a story in meditation about a lion and a dog. And I write about it in my book, and the chapter calls Choose Which Thoughts to Follow, which is about mindfulness and meditation. And I'll read it to you. The Lion versus the Dog. There is a story about a lion, a dog, and a bone. Imagine that you have a bone in your hand. Sitting across from you is a dog. As you wave the bone around, the dog follows every movement of the bone. The dog may not even notice you. Instead, he is focused on the bone. You move the bone left, his head moves in the same direction. You raise the bone over your head, the dog looks up. It's as if the dog cannot help himself. He must follow the bone. If you throw the bone in the corner, the dog will run after the bone without hesitation. Now consider the same scenario, except rather than a dog, there is a lion sitting across from you. As you wave the bone around, the lion might notice the bone, but he also notices you. As you move the bone to the left, the lion might notice that you move the bone, but more likely, he is focused on you. When you throw the bone into the corner, the lion is not likely to chase it. He may turn his head to the corner, but he chooses not to follow the bone. The bone is an analogy for our thoughts. You want to be more like a lion and less like a dog, even though I love dogs. You want to choose which thoughts to follow, rather than chasing every bone you see or thought you think. You want to remain focused on what is important to you rather than chasing every thought that crosses your mind. So that's why the mind management portion of the book is referred to as the lion. So I thought one of the things we might do is to do a quick 3-minute meditation. In case you have a meditation practice, but you haven't had a chance to meditate today, this is your chance. And if you were thinking about starting a meditation practice, but you don't know where to start, here's a good place to start. So I have a handout on my website, printable, called 5 Ways to Start Your Meditation Practice. And I'll walk you through it. So the first step is to be present. Now, mindfulness means being present in the moment and focusing on what is happening right now. You can do this anywhere, anytime. It's not zoning out. You're not trying to get rid of all thought. You're focusing in. And what you're going to focus on in this kind of mindfulness meditation is your breath. So this is something that you, again, can do anywhere. You focus on your breath. Be deliberate in your breathing, and while you practice being present, focus on your breath. So you want to sit comfortably in a quiet place where you can be alone and undisturbed for a period of time. If you can sit on the floor with your legs crossed like crisscross applesauce, that's great. Or you can sit on a chair or in your car. Just make sure your back is straight and your feet are on the floor. You don't want to be leaning against anything. You want your spine and your neck to be aligned straight. Sit up straight. And your hands will be on your knees, or they can be folded in your lap. So now you're ready to meditate. So sit comfortably. Rest your hands on your knees. You can close your eyes or soft focus on a spot on the floor about 6 feet in front of you and focus on your breath. You'll take several deep breaths to calm your body. And in the meditation, we would do this for about 5 minutes. But now we'll just take a deep breath, breathe it out. Just focus on your breath. If your mind wanders, then you just come right back to focusing on your breath. Now your goal is to just be aware of your thoughts and notice them, but not follow them. And when your mind wanders from your breath, just bring it back to your breath without any judgment. Just focus on your breath and return to it. And primarily, your goal is to just keep trying. To just keep trying to focus on your breath. And when your mind wanders, come back to your breath. Take one more deep breath. And let it out. And if your eyes are closed, you can open your eyes. And that was your first or your daily meditation. And, you know, it's not an opinion anymore that meditation is good for you. There's actually science behind it that it relaxes your brain. It calms your body and your mind, and it allows you to be better at pretty much everything. I know it sounds like a catch-all phrase almost, like, well, it'll just make everything better, but it is actually true. And I always say, if you can't start a meditation practice for yourself, then start it for someone you love, because they will benefit too. So we're nearing the end of our time together. I'm Jamie Jackson Spanhake. This has been The Lawyer, the Lion, and the Laundry. If you're interested in the book, the subtitle is 3 Hours to Finding Your Calm in the Chaos. You can get the book at my website, which is jamiespanhake.com. It's also on Amazon. Just do a Google search for Lawyer, Lion, Laundry. And thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. Thanks.
That turned out well for not having a plan.
Was it totally boring?
No,
All right, good.